My boss got the email, he forwarded it to me, and he's like, do you want to do this? And I thought, well, I guess I was kind of the right guy that was chosen to do this thing, I guess. But maybe it was like a joke or something. Maybe it was like a psyop on me or something. I don't even know.
Do you want a chocolate?
Truthseekers, seek the truth. A truth so bold it's hard to hold. Truthseekers, truthseekers, yeah. Place the cash, place the cash.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Tonight we're going to be exploring the apocalypse that has just happened to the UFO Grift Squad. And if you don't realize the importance and significance of these happenings, you're in the right place, because I'm going to be breaking this all down for you. For those unaware, a company called 1091 Films is imploding and failing to pay the people that they create films with or distribute films for. If you've watched a UFO or a Bigfoot documentary in the past, I don't know, 5 years, chances are 1091 Films and their parent company Orchard was deeply involved in that film getting wherever you saw it, whether that be Hulu or Netflix or multiple other streaming services. 1091 Films has been, and Orchard have been responsible for the Bob Lazar film, for Corey Goode and David Wilcock's Garbage 2 documentaries, for Stephen Greer's Garbage documentaries, for Third Phase of Moon and Stephen Greer's Garbage documentaries, for James Fox's Garbage documentaries, and many, many more. So what is going on right now is that the Grift Squad is panicking. And in fact, we have confirmation of that in the form of posts from Stephen Greer, and also a sort of cryptic post by James Fox about his whole career being in danger. And, you know, pardon me if I say cry me a river. All these people have been making millions of dollars selling completely and totally fake stories, largely, for years now. And the gravy train is over, because apparently 1091 Films is imploding. They stopped paying people money that they are owed. And we've got a lot of information to share with you about that. But besides that, tonight we will also be delving into the Grusch grift update. Sorry, that's a mouthful. The Grusch grift update. For those unaware, I have previously highlighted. We're at 157 days now. It's on the thumbnail. 157 days, hundreds of thousands of dollars generated by various people, including News Nation, Ross Coulthart, Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, and others. There's several long-form interviews by YouTubers, all of which generated hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in monetized ad revenue so far. And I, for one, will continue to be completely and totally amused by the fact that all of these different entities and organizations or individuals were able to generate hundreds and hundreds of thousands. We'll be getting into the millions, I believe, soon. I'm going to have to take a look at my analytics again. Millions of dollars maybe already generated by stories being told by Dave Grusch, who, granted, okay, he was in the military, and granted, okay, he had special access, right? Ooh, he had top secret access, but he has no evidence. We're on 157 days, but there has been some recent changes to the situation. And if you haven't been paying attention long enough, you'll know that there is always a game of kick the can. 6 months to a year before Grusch was ever public, people like Eric Davis and George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell and Ross Coulthart and many others who were already, I believe, negotiating with him to get him to work with and for them, were saying that whistleblowers are going to come forward and they're going to name the program names and they're going to tell us the location where the alien hardware is being kept. They're going to tell us where the alien bodies were autopsied and studied and where the tissue samples are. They're going to blow this thing wide open. That was 6 months to a year before Grusch was ever known in the public sphere. And then Grusch certainly comes out with some honestly out of this world claims, out of this world allegations that the government is in possession of alien crash retrievals and alien spaceships and non-human bodies from some of those crashes. But a deeper look really shows us that his information is coming largely from the same UFO grift squad that has been grifting on UFOs for ages. People like Eric Davis, people like Dr. Gary Nolan, people like Lou Elizondo. He's even working for Gary Nolan. So does he actually have any real or verifiable information? Or is this all a game of cat and mouse while he fills his pocket with every UFO dollar he possibly can? We're at 157 days. In a few short weeks, we're going to be at 6 months since David Grusch made these allegations. But what we get instead of evidence is a game of kick the can and a great deal of excuses. First, we were told, he can't tell us because it's top secret. I'm sorry, that's not a whistleblower. When Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning and these others came out as real whistleblowers, they provided a mountain of evidence. Terabytes of data in the form of Snowden and Chelsea were provided to the journalists that they were blowing the whistle to. Instead, with David Grusch, what we see is a carefully constructed narrative that quickly begins to fall apart. Remember, first the narrative was he had no mental problems or any reason why he wouldn't be considered a trustworthy witness. Turns out he spent time in the mental institution. Oh, we left that part out. Sorry. Yeah, but it's all good. It was post-traumatic stress from combat. And I still, I'm sure I'm going to get some nasty emails. I want to know what combat he was in. What we get is some vague references to combat in Afghanistan. Do you know how incredibly rare it is for an Air Force intelligence officer to actually be in a combat situation? Go ask some. I did. They're almost never in combat. So we get multiple stories. First, this post-traumatic stress came because a friend of his killed himself. Okay. Then it came from being a combat veteran, he can't get his story straight. And now there are, how many times has he lied so far, right? Or let's just say played fast and loose with the facts. And now, basically, we have the director of AARO, the government's UFO program, Sean Kirkpatrick, saying that Grusch never contacted him to give him any information, and he is the proper party that Grusch should be contacting with this information within the United States government. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick went further, claiming that he reached out to Dave Grusch multiple times and asked him to come in and share his information with them, and Dave Grusch refused to do that. So what's going on here is exactly what I predicted has gone on here. And by the way, we have detailed in explicit detail. I often truly believe that history is our greatest teacher. So in order to give people perspective about UFO whistleblowers, first of all, this isn't the first guy that's been called a UFO whistleblower. There's been probably 100, I guess. I don't know. But we covered the 14 most famous and well-known cases of so-called UFO whistleblowers. And what we see when we study the history of those cases is exactly what's happening in the case of Dave Grusch. Lots of big claims being made. Wow, the government has aliens. Great. And then promises of evidence is going to come. We're going to break it all down. We're going to show you the smoking gun proof and evidence of our claims. And in all 14 cases, we did a deep dive. I think it was 4 or 5 hours in total, covering the entire history of the 14 so-called UFO whistleblowers before Dave Grusch was the guy. There was plenty of other guys before him that were the guy. And isn't it interesting that they all made they all made incredibly, let's just use that word and be safe, incredibly similar claims. Government cover-ups, crash retrieval programs, alien technology in possession of the government, alien bodies, maybe even some live aliens working for the government. And in all of those cases, they never proved anything. None of them ever proved anything. And now we are on the eve of the 158th day of David Grusch making very similar claims to all those 14 others that we chronicled here. And still no evidence. But don't worry, the kick the can effect is in full swing. It's always kick the can. First it was, before he even came out, oh, he's gonna show everything. He's gonna blow the whistle on it. Well, he must be blowing a dog whistle because no one can hear him due to lack of actual concrete or real evidence of his claims. But what we get now is we're at 158 days, kick the can, right? First it was, as soon as he comes out, he's going to name the program names and the people involved and where they're hiding the bodies. We're finally going to get disclosure. And what do we get? We get stories, which I believe were largely fed to him by the same old UFO grift squad that has been doing this for years. Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis. He has verifiably repeated things that Dr. Gary Nolan has said and really not proven. He's repeating hoax, fake stories from Lou Elizondo, the Pentagon fake UFO program director. Jerk off. That one's for Lou Elizondo, the fake UFO program director. You remember him, the guy who claimed he ran a Pentagon UFO program, and it turns out he only ran a Pentagon UFO program in the land of make-believe. You remember him, right? Yeah, he was the guy, the whistleblower before Dave Grusch. What has he proven? He's proven he likes UFO money that you idiots keep giving him. Keep buying his crap, right? And keep supporting him, keep doxing people, threatening people, harassing people who tell you the truth. And the reality is that guy didn't run anything for the Pentagon except for a desk that had nothing to do with UFOs. And that guy's a big buddy of Grusch, big supporter. And according to Brian Bender, groomed David Grusch for his current role as a whistleblower. So we've got the last fake whistleblower that didn't disclose shit training the new fake whistleblower that hasn't disclosed shit as far as evidence. Welcome to the UFO circle jerk, right? It's great. And in the form of Grusch, so we get this timeline first. Everybody said, even before he came out, oh, he's going to tell us, we're finally going to get the goods and the evidence and the proof. And then he comes out and he tells stories, but he has no evidence or proof other than hoaxed nonsense, fake stories fed to him by the usual UFO grift squad. Now he's even working for one of the usual UFO grift squad. Great. And he had documentary deals in place before he ever went public. So then he goes public and in come the kick the can again. Well, he can't disclose that. It's top secret. But the Pentagon Office of Pre-Publication cleared him to talk about that. That's another huge lie on the part of Grusch and all the Grusch supporters. If he was cleared to talk about alien crash retrievals, cleared to talk about alien spaceships, cleared to talk about alien bodies by the Pentagon, then by definition, none of those things are classified. He can say anything he wants, but he can't or he won't. It's a very convenient excuse for why he has no evidence. And the other convenient excuse, oh, and then we get into this situation with his clearances. First he said he never lost them. Then he said they were suspended. Now we find out he doesn't have clearance. So they got to give him his clearance back in order that he can share his so-called evidence with lawmakers. So we get the kick the can. Oh, he can't show us anything because it's all classified. No, first of all, no, it's not. That's a huge lie. It's not classified per the Pentagon Office of Pre-Publication, who cleared him to talk about all those things. Meaning, by definition, none of those things are classified. But don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good fake whistleblower that you can milk for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of monetized views. Bullshit is their business, friends, and business is good. Up until now, because this 1091 thing is going to be really problematic for many, many of these Grift Squad members. And we are going to break it all down for you. We want to take a moment to recognize and welcome in the live chat, whether you're chatting on our Rumble chat, our Twitch chat, our YouTube chat, our Facebook Live, or Twitter live feeds, or the pill.net chat room. Welcome one and all. What is going on? I do get the chat gets aggregated to me for most of those, but not Rumble, not Pilled. So, come on over to the YouTube live chat if you wish to participate more fully. And we are glad for all of you being there. Thank you for being here and welcome. Now, I've got not a great deal of information to share with you, but I have enough. The first thing we're going to discuss with some reference materials that I have gathered here is the 1091 complete and total collapse. And I'm told that it is a complete and total collapse, that 1091 is going completely out of business. They may be declaring bankruptcy and screwing everybody out of listen, I don't know what you know about the corporate world, but here's what I know. When a business goes belly up, here's what happens. All the higher ups that ran the company into the ground and made poor or terrible decisions that resulted in the company going belly up, they all get golden parachutes. You know who doesn't get paid? Anybody they owe money to. And 1091 being a distributorship, we heard details of this in the David Wilcock, Corey Good saga. All those lawsuits over the money from those two films. By the way, that was into the hundreds of thousands or millions. So this will tell you how much money is at play. First of all, I just want to share with you that Chicken Soup for the Soul buys 1091 Pictures for $15.6 million. And this happened back in March of 2022. So they got bought out, and then the merger or buyout, depending on who you ask, was it a merger or a buyout? It was a little bit of both, according to my source. It didn't work quite as planned. Nabbing the film and TV studio nearly doubles Chicken Soup's content catalog by bringing the distribution rights to around 4,000 film and TV series, accelerating its streaming strategy. Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment has unveiled a deal to acquire the assets of film studio 1091 Media as part of a $15.6 million cash and stock deal. The deal, subject to closing conditions, offers 1091 Pictures $8 million in cash, $2 million in newly issued preferred NASDAQ shares valued at $25 each, and another 375,000 shares of Class A common stock valued at $14.80 each. 1091 Pictures brings around 4,000 movies and TV series to Chicken Soup, including The Ghost of Peter Sellers, Linda Ronstadt, The Sound of My Voice, and the sport series A Kid from Coney Island, executive produced by Kevin Durant and Taiwa Waitiki's A Hunt for Wilder People. 1091 Pictures transformed their large content library into a scalable, modern distribution platform with a compelling slate of channels that are a pragmatic addition to our existing assets. The deal for 1091 Pictures comes as Hollywood media players increasingly target online advertising as a new front in the streaming wars beyond subscription VOD services. The 1091 Pictures acquisition and distribution divisions will be folded into Screen Media's own teams. And 1091 Pictures' owned channel business will be integrated into Crackle Plus Networks as Chicken Soup grows its streaming services and fast channels. So this is news as of March of 2022. And it appears that that merger or acquisition did not go quite as planned. But it's interesting that we should note that 1091 Pictures has been in trouble for quite some time. Back in 2019, they had huge layoffs, and that made them vulnerable to acquisition or a corporate takeover by another entity, I believe. So I'm going to share my screen. This is an older article. I should take a moment to recognize and explain for the sake of the audience. So 1091 Pictures is the distribution platform for all the grifters. Third Phase Moon, Stephen Greer, let's see. I'm buffering. I apologize. I don't know why that is. A bunch of stuff down. All right. So I should explain that 1091 Pictures is the distributor and the big cash cow. So if you watched for UFO grifters and Bigfoot people, jury's still out on if they're grifters. I think a lot of them are. We've covered some of them. But 1091 Pictures, if there's some strange or unusual a ghost documentary, UFO documentary, something about aliens, something about Bigfoot, something about anything paranormal, it's distributed through 1091. And this is why the Grift Squad is in full panic mode. They are panicking because apparently 1091 Pictures is in huge financial trouble currently. But their troubles didn't start recently or even after that acquisition that did not go well. This is an article from 2019. 1091 Media lays off 25% of staff as distributor looks to release fewer films. 1091 Media laid off roughly 25% of its workforce on Friday, resulting in 9 employees in the company's marketing and distribution division, as well as under other areas, losing their jobs. In addition to the layoffs, Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer Chad Blackwell and Chief Revenue Officer Julie Dansker also announced that the indie distributor will release fewer films going forward as part of a shift in strategic vision. So they downsized in 2019. Then they sold their entire company in 2023 or 2022 to this Chicken Soup larger company. So there's a great deal of financial problems going on as 1091, and it gets worse, friends. It's gotten worse. Well, or better, depending on your point of view. If you don't like grifters making millions of dollars selling nonsensical garbage documentaries, this is a good thing. But I want to make sure that I put a record that we recognize and understand that if you thought there was a lot of backstabbing and arguments and disputes in these, it's about to get vicious, because now all the grift squad, and listen, one of the reasons that the grift squad won't turn on each other is because they're all working together through 1091 media. This is going to be a big change, because now everybody's going to be on different distribution platforms or be getting different deals, and they're not going to be as lucrative. That's my opinion based on people that I've talked to. 1091 would snap up everybody's documentary. If it was about aliens, UFOs, ghosts, demons, Bigfoot, whatever, they snapped it up and gave people good money deals to produce content for them. So what we have now is an apocalypse for the UFO grifters, because they've all made millions of dollars through 1091 for years and years and years. All of Stephen Greer's documentaries, James Fox's documentaries, Corey Good, David Wilcock, Third Phase of Moon, and Stephen Greer. They've all gotten paid like crazy through 1091, and now it would appear that the gravy train is over. And it's not just Greer, it's also over for James Fox. James Fox recently released a video crying about, I believe, about this very thing. Now, what is going to happen here is and I freely admit I'm speculating, but when this company goes under, all these grifters are going to lose the rights to their films. There's no buyback option, or so I understand it. They will lose their rights to their films. So all the money that they're used to getting, they get big monthly royalty checks every month. It's all gone. It's all gone. But cry me a river that the grift squad will not be making millions of dollars selling garbage documentaries filled with fake information, fake stories, fake whatever. All right, so this is fair use. This is we're using this to inform the public. This is James Fox. I believe he is talking about this very situation, and this was he's got me blocked on Twitter. Oh, November 6th, he was complaining here.
Hello, everybody. Sitting in my favorite spot. I hike up to this point pretty much daily. Think about my work and edits that I'm working on, how I'm putting the film together. But I'm writing this post because I've been holding something in for the last 6 months, dealing.
Yeah, and I'm told by a source that they have been not paying some of the people that they owe money to for film distribution for longer than Greer mentioned. Greer mentioned the last few months. It might be as much as 6 or 8 months that they haven't been paying the UFO grift squad, and I suppose everybody else, the money that they're owed.
With career-related issues, likes of which I've never experienced in my entire life. So challenging. It feels like someone's trying to extinguish my career.
Yeah, and for those that are unaware, James Fox basically made millions of dollars on his films distributed by 1091 Pictures. So this man became a millionaire selling UFO bullshit to stupid people through 1091. And now that whole gravy train is coming to an end. But it's worse than people, I don't know how to properly explain it. They're not just losing their money going forward. They're losing their ability to make any money off of all those old documentaries. Those documentaries are going to be probably the rights sold to whoever rescues 1091 from its downward spiral of financial ruin. And so this is why these guys are freaking out, because they've been getting big royalty checks even for their old documentaries, which are still on streaming services for years and years and years to come, they've lost a ton of income. And they're not too happy about it, as you could well imagine.
It's pretty terrifying. I'll probably be going public with it later this week. For legal reasons, I can't discuss it right now, but I wanted to give you all a heads up and thank you for all your support. It means the world to me.
Yeah, so there's already people throwing around threats of lawsuits, but I'm here to tell you, I mean, you can sue a company that is, oh, that's kind of a funny background. Look, Grusch looking at him. So I got to change that. So, you know, I think this situation is funny, and I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to, you know, take pleasure in another man's misfortune. But, you know, how many millions of dollars do these clowns need to make on their bullshit fake story documentaries before enough is enough? Like, go get a real job, James Fox, right? Why don't you get a real job? Or why don't you cover something that actually has facts or evidence? Do you know James Fox sold the goddamn Varginha alien story 3 times, I think. Once to the Travel Channel, once to Nat Geo as a television special, and then a documentary whereby the only new evidence he found in 30 years in the latest iteration of him selling that bullshit, likely fake story, the only new evidence he had was 5 anonymous news sources, right? Great. And, you know, it's unfortunate because people say James Fox did great work at the beginning, but now his work is garbage. I would venture to say go back and really take a hard look at his early work, because I think that was just as garbage infested. It just was disguised better. And since he didn't have a proven track record of selling garbage fake stories, people thought that his work was good. I don't care for any of his work, and I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to have an opinion. There is just a total lack of evidence. It's always overhype, overpromise, and underdeliver. Remember, this man claimed before that Varginha alien documentary came out that he had the alien footage. So everybody bought that. I believe a lot of people bought that, the viewing rights to that, or pay-per-view or whatever, you know, signed up to watch his new film on the Varginha alien because they thought there was footage of the Varginha alien creature in the film. Turns out he didn't have shit. He didn't have the film. And by the way, there's people being criminally prosecuted for trying to extort money from people and fake the Varginha alien video. And again, the video is something that has never been proven to actually exist. It's been rumored to exist. So he overhypes and sensationalizes his last documentary, which is about the Varginha, saying in an interview that he located the footage, right? So everybody thinks the footage is in the film. It's not in the film. There's nothing in the film but 5 brand new anonymous whistleblowers, you know, with the muffled voices, and put them in shadow. They can't appear on camera. It's too dangerous. Real James Bond spy level nonsense. He didn't have shit. He overpromised and underdelivered. And after the film, then he starts saying, I've offered a reward for the film. So he didn't have anything. He lied. He lied about that to sell his shitty film, the same story that he's made money on. This is the 3rd time now. So pardon me if I don't cry a river, because James Fox is not going to get his, you know, fat stacks of UFO cash this month or next month. I don't care. There's wars going on. There's people starving all over America, right? And these clowns, including Greer, are crying a river on the internet that they're going to lose money over this. You know, it shows you what their true motivation is. These clowns don't care about disclosure. They don't care about getting to the truth of a great mystery. They care about how much money is going to be deposited in their bank account this month. And this 1091 thing, I'm telling you, mark my words, we're going to see backstabbing and fighting in the UFO community, the likes of which you have never seen. these people are all going to start talking shit on each other, and they're all going to be trying to climb the shit ladder, the shit pile of UFO losers to get the deals. Because 1091 was an easy deal to get as long as you had good produced content about aliens or UFOs. And now that's all going away. Who's going to take James Fox's next film? And by the way, we'll get to the Greer cry next, because that's funny. Dr. Stephen Greer has made millions and millions of dollars selling fake stories. He's collected at one point he collected $500,000 to create a free energy device, and then he didn't create anything. And then he collected another $500,000 to make a film about free energy. And now he's collecting money to create a free energy lab again. We're over $1 million for the free energy scam that Mr. Greer has run. And that's right, I'm calling it a scam. He can prove me wrong. Let us know, Dr. Stephen Greer, what did you do with the first $500,000 that you were going to create a lab with to create a free energy device? What did you do with the first $500,000 where you were going to open source a free energy device? We didn't get anything. Nothing for the $500,000. What happened to that money, Stephen Greer? Then he collects another $500,000 to make a film about free energy. Why didn't he make the film with the first $500,000 he collected if he felt so strongly that he was going to unveil the secrets of free energy? We got nothing. He collected $1 million for his free energy scam. And that's not counting the millions of dollars he scammed off that Atacama humanoid. Remember that? That was fake. Yeah. And they could have waited for the tests to find out it was fake before they rushed to make a movie about it and cash in to the tune of millions of dollars. But they didn't do that, of course, because why let things like facts and evidence that was just a deformed fetus get in the way of a good fake alien story you can sell? And we detailed yesterday how dirtballs and scumbags and just deplorable people are willing to use dead babies to scam for alien dollars. This is a thing. The Atacama humanoid, dead baby. The Nazca mummies, glued together dead babies. Great. That's the level of ethics and morality of these UFO grifters. They're willing to use dead babies as long as they can get some alien money. But this is Mr. Greer's crying statement. Again, cry me a river. Dear friends of disclosure, despite our best efforts, 1091 Films, the distributor of The Lost Century and How to Reclaim It, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, The Unacknowledged, and 1091 Films' parent company, Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment Incorporated, have failed to remit payment of rightly owed revenues over the last few months. For this reason, The Lost Century is not currently available on Amazon Prime and other advertising-supported sites like Tubi, etc. We are working diligently to resolve this issue through the courts, and we recently filed suit to recover these funds. So Stephen Greer goes right to suing them. This company made him millions and millions of dollars. He doesn't get paid for a few months. He went right to suing them, right? Is this about disclosure or is this about disclosure cash? Because I think this is about disclosure cash. You're getting in the way of my disclosure cash. I'm going to sue you. Dr. Stephen Greer goes on to say, the unnecessary and unfortunate situation is creating a serious crisis for the Disclosure Project. It has caused the loss of vitally needed funds that support the wide range of important work we do. What is the wide range of important work he does? Am I missing something? UFO grifting is important work? Okay. Including our efforts with the Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive. Yeah, you remember he said he had 8 terabytes of data they were going to share? By the way, maybe it's just me. Stephen Greer has been grifting off of donations and stuff. Oh, we're going to get together this intelligence archive about UFOs. It's 8 terabytes. I could host that for him tomorrow. And we can put it on the internet for everybody to see what he's got. I can host that for him tomorrow for free. I got a spare server right over there. I could have it up and running in 4 hours or less with every bit of data that he claims that he has or is going to share. And by the way, just because this is the kind of asshole I am, I emailed him with the offer to do the hosting for free because I wanted to see what 8 terabytes of data, UFO data, he has. I have a feeling that it all came from Michael Stratt. That's what I think, but I haven't asked Michael Stratt that. It's kind of a, I try to leave Dr. Stephen Greer out of any conversation that I have with Michael Stratt. So, let me read the rest of this. I'm sorry. I'm getting off in the weeds here. Including our efforts with the Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive and efforts in Washington to secure full and truthful disclosure, planned advanced technology and energy research labs. Well, he already collected $500,000 years and years and years ago for his energy research lab. What happened to that $500,000? Are we not? And we're not allowed to know what happened to that. As public supporter and crowdfunder of these important documentaries, it's your right to respectfully inquire. So he's sending all of his idiot cult-like followers to go ask Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment why they are refusing to release revenues they owe. And we encourage the rightful return on your public interest investment. We welcome you to express your concern to 1091 Films. So he's telling people to tweet at them asking for his money. He's basically encouraging his users to go bother them. Why aren't you paying them? William J. Rahana Jr., CEO of Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment, William Rahana, and asked they make good on their contractual and legal obligations to the project. In the meantime, we are searching for a new, fair dealing and ethical film distributor for these important educational documentaries. Important educational documentaries filled with lies. This guy lies through his teeth. And my favorite of his lies is in the third phase of Moon documentary with him. He claimed that he went on secret missions with Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top, and he saw alien medical technology, right? Then he claimed that an entire company got killed in the state of Michigan. We checked. That shit didn't happen. Then he claimed that he briefed every sitting U.S. president since Ronald Reagan on the subject of aliens and UFOs. We checked. He didn't brief none of them. None of them. He's a liar and a scammer. And now he's crying because his money's going away. Good, Stephen Greer. Get a goddamn job, you slob. Get a job, you slob. How many millions do you need to make off of this fake shit? You haven't produced any evidence. And by the way, we're going to be both covering. I've bought it. We're going to be both covering his CE5 app, which I believe is a consumer fraud scam, because he essentially says if you buy his app, you'll be able to summon spaceships and talk to aliens. I haven't been able to verifiably find anybody that summoned a real spaceship with his app or talk to aliens. So how the hell is he allowed to sell that? Isn't that, I would think that's a form of fraud. But again, welcome to UFO land, where you overpromise and underdeliver. And by the way, I'm not making accusations. I'm just asking questions. We're going to review the app. Then we're going to talk to we're going to talk to whoever is in charge of consumer affairs in the state where his companies are operating out of. And we're going to be asking government officials how he can say that he's selling an app for $10 that lets you talk to aliens and summon spaceships if it doesn't actually do that. It's a big problem for him, and it's coming soon, exclusively here on Truthseekers. By the way, if anybody would like me or would like to participate in that effort, I'll be buying the app for 5 people and making you swear that you'll follow the instructions to the letter and then report your results to me. Dr. Stephen Greed goes on to say, we sincerely appreciate your patience and understanding while we do everything possible to resolve this matter as quickly and painlessly as possible. Who's in pain over him not getting paid? Are you in pain? I'm not in pain over him not getting paid. I kind of think it's funny. I think it's funny. Maybe Dr. Stephen Greed's got to go back to doing something useful with his time and skills and education. Like maybe go be a doctor in a poor neighborhood and provide medical care to people in need. Anything's better than the UFO grift for his soul, right? But what do I know? So again, thank you for the outstanding support. It means the world to me. And by the way, the comments that people are leaving on this post tell you that really, I was surprised, but it seems that people are really sick of this guy. And one of the interesting things is that Dr. Stephen Greed apparently doesn't read or reply to anything on Twitter, nor is he smart enough to pay somebody to do it for him. Thomas Edward, I'm still waiting on the data dump release that y'all announced on the Disclosure Project recently and the recorded footage of the other days that the free public hasn't seen. Please, can you get that information public? But wasn't it paid for by crowdsourcing? It should be paid for already, right? Oh, it's great. And this guy is calling 1091 a con artist, right? And people said, what a bunch of crooks. I think it's great. And James Gamas, this is the same thing that James Fox is going through. And Double Cross Rancher says, if it's about education, just publish them for free. Yeah. Why doesn't he just publish them for free, right? They know how disruptive the documentary will be. Every documentary I've seen of your company tells the truth of our world issues. That guy must be an idiot. Yo, no, listen. When you think about how stupid Dr. Stephen Greed's followers are, just remember they're even stupider than that. They're even stupider than you think they are. But some of these comments are pretty. People went after him about crying about the money, right? He's getting a lot of support in there too, right? Steve says, release the free energy technology that can be peer reviewed you claim to have, and I will personally donate $1,000. It's time to pony up. People are tired of his endless promises for revelations to come. People want the goddamn goods. Yeah, look at this. Commander says, whoa, hold on, Tiger. You've been asking for lab money for over 20 years and still refuse to show proof or transparency. You only self-serve the 9 terabytes of data you say you have. Release it. Over 100 witnesses and no math, no video, no actual evidence, and you're still begging for money. Wow. Yeah. So it's interesting. It seems like the tides are turning. People are tired of hearing this guy cry for money. And by the way, let's make sure that we recognize and understand that Dr. Stephen Greer has made more money than probably any other of the grift squad. He's probably the most successful UFO grifter in history. He's made millions and millions of dollars, has for years. And they cut off his funding, his checks for 2 months, and he's suing them. And also, of course, he's asking for donations to get through this difficult time, right? I don't know about you, but I'm just going to say it. Fuck Stephen Greer and his difficult time. Fucking right in his eyes, right? People are struggling all over the goddamn world. People are starving to death. He needs donations to get through this difficult time. You're a goddamn millionaire. What happened to the $500,000 you collected for free energy? What was that, 8 or 10 years ago? What happened to that $500,000? Oh, then you need another $500,000 to make a film. Then you need another $500,000 to make a film. Then you get another $1 million to make a film in one of those crowdsourcing things, right? And by the way, I know I've mentioned this before, and it may seem petty, but his films, you can ask any documentary filmmaker to look at them. He doesn't spend $500,000. He collects $500,000 in crowdsourced funds to make a film, and then he doesn't spend anywhere near $500,000 to make the film, so he pockets all the rest of the money, in my opinion. There's just not a documentary film doesn't cost $500,000 to make, especially those third phase clown show ones. Those were 50. What were they, like half stock footage? That's $20 a month. Half your film is stock footage. They're $20. So half that film's budget was $20, and Vado Elements for $20 a month, unlimited downloads of stock footage. It's interesting that the Greer grift just continues and continues and continues. I don't know how he hasn't been in trouble, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to speculate further. There's the issue of, the problems with consumer laws concerning his CE5 app that he's selling. I don't even know why. Why should that be even allowed on an app store? So that reminds me, I'm kind of making a mental note. We're going to ask Google Play and Apple why they're letting him sell an app that he can't prove works on their platforms. And of course, the proof of CE5 never comes, right? And you can pay huge amounts of money and get these grand promises that you're going to see aliens and UFOs. What does he show you? A cactus that he claims is an alien. That was proven by Lion's Ground. One of those so-called proofs was a goddamn cactus. It's awesome. And so, but let us move on. Oh, this is the wrong one. 1 second here. Hard to get your stuff together here. Oh, we'll just go with that and I'll correct it. 1 second here. So now we go back to the Grusch fiasco. The Grusch grift is 157 days, almost 158 days, and still no evidence. And this is interesting tweet of mine. This is from yesterday, however. 156 days making huge claims, zero evidence shown so far. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. How in the world is it just okay that all these people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars on their claims of aliens and alien spaceships, but there's no evidence? I think that's incredibly interesting. Now, the Grusch grift does have some new developments, and the grift squad that has been selling his story are extremely happy about this, including Jeremy Corbell. Wow, go UFO, writes Jeremy Corbell. An amendment passed today to get David Grusch into a skiff with those he testified to in Congress under oath at the public UFO hearing to spill the beans of the details he couldn't reveal in the open hearing. So here's the kick the can. Now he's going to give details, but he's going to give details in a skiff, which is a secure facility to discuss classified information. None of that information can be talked about outside of the skiff by anybody, I don't think. So what's going to happen after he testifies in a skiff? Nothing. But Corbell's really excited about this. We're talking UFO programs and names. Yeah, before he was ever known to be a public figure, people said that he was going to name UFO programs and names. We're almost 6 months in and he hasn't named shit, Jeremy Corbell, you grift squad grifter. Come on, man. What level of, delusion do you have to be in to think that any information is going to come out from him? He waited 6 months before dropping any information. Oh, because it's classified. I'll do it in the classified setting. Well, if he does it in a classified setting, even the senators and the Congress people that are in there are not allowed to talk about what he said when they get out of the classified setting. So nothing is going to come from this. Nothing will come from him testifying in a skiff. Nothing. Some whistleblower, I can't talk about it publicly. It's classified. No, it's not. The Pentagon cleared you to talk about those things. Well, I can't provide details unless I'm in a skiff. Great. Now you're going to go in a skiff, and they're going to kick the can after the skiff shit. After the skiff, and no information comes out, no evidence, they're going to kick the can again and then say, Tim Burchett and others are trying to get clearance to release his evidence to the public, or some nonsensical explanation for why no evidence has so far been released. It's a game of cat and mouse. It's a meeting that's been blocked, but now it looks like it's going to happen, says Jeremy Corbell. It will undoubtedly lead to some subpoenas, which I think is good
for those who need that extra layer of protection to spill the beans. Yeah, everybody's talking about these whistleblowers spilling the beans. They haven't spilled shit. Where's the evidence? They don't have anything. Come clean about America's UFO exploitation and reverse engineering programs. I have some individuals in mind. Okay, so Jeremy Corbell got his disclosure boner because Dave Grusch is going to be able to testify in a skiff. And by the way, Jeremy Corbell is in a lot of hot water right now because there's a lot of rumors going on, and people are really there's a lot of rumors that Dave Grusch is the person that gave Mr. Corbell the Mosul orb image, which is classified and should never have been released to the public. But don't let things like laws get in the way of a great alien story you can sell. And here I have a clip of Jeremy Corbell. This will show you how stupid Jeremy Corbell is. What he did is he took a still image from a video that was played in a classified briefing. And then he was dumb enough to say publicly that it wasn't classified, it was okay to release. That's how stupid Jeremy Corbell is. And I'm here to tell you, go ask 10 intelligence people. Can I take a still image from a video that was played in a classified briefing and release it to the public on the internet and make money from it? You tell me what they tell you. I've checked around. No, friends, you cannot release a still image from a video that was played in a classified briefing. That would be a violation of the Espionage Act. And that is why Jeremy Corbell all of a sudden started calling himself an investigative journalist when he never had before. Because, oh, I'm a journalist. I'm doing journalistic work. So that protects me. No, there are allegedly or supposedly there are ongoing investigations into Grusch or possibly others releasing possibly or allegedly classified material to idiot Corbell, who then went on to make money from it.
It is a military filmed image, an intelligence.
Yeah, and by the way, go ask your military friends. Can you take images that were taken in an active war zone in a foreign country and release them on the internet? See what they say. Jeremy Corbell is dumb as dirt. I hope he goes to prison. There, I said it. I do hope he goes to prison.
It is a military filmed image, an intelligence agency filmed image, and it's called the Mosul orb.
It's called the Mosul orb. Yeah, and he had no right, legal or otherwise, to release it. That's my opinion, having spoken to multiple intelligence people who told me, no, you can't take a still image from a video that was played in a classified briefing and just declare it unclassified somehow. I don't know why I'm buffering.
Mosul, Iraq.
Correct. Yeah, this is an image taken over northern Iraq. And, this is fine to put out, the image itself, and I have some...
It's fine to put out. Who told him that he could take a still image from a classified video played in a classified briefing? Who told him he could do that? Who gave him the image? A lot of people, and this is rumors and speculation, but a lot of people are saying Grusch is the one who gave him that. And that might have been what got Grusch in trouble, or might have lost Grusch's clearance. Because you're not allowed to give classified information to people that don't have that clearance. You're not allowed to do that. It's illegal. But hey, this isn't the first time we've seen stupid people do illegal things to sell a UFO story. Look at that Nazca mummy story. They're digging up dead people and ripping them apart and gluing them back together to sell that story. So I guess on the grift scale, what Jeremy Corbell did was not so bad. He just took a still image from a classified briefing and he published it. And I'd love to know who told him that he could do that. He just declared, oh, it's okay to release this. Who said so?
Detailed information about it, but here's the very basics. This is in the UFO category within our intelligence community. This is an example of one of the UFOs that our military and intelligence community is looking at. It's just one of many images.
Yeah, one of many images that he has no right to sell. He has no right to sell a government-funded image, in my opinion. He has no right to slap his, watermark on government-funded, government-filmed videos and make money. And I renew my questions. Is Jeremy Corbell getting paid a royalty every time you see his shit fake pyramid videos on the news? Does he get a royalty for that? And if so, why? That's a government funded video. He doesn't own that. He doesn't have the rights to that. He can't copyright that. That was paid for by you and me. It's welcome to the point of ridiculousness. But I had just a little bit more to share. So, and by the way, Jeremy Corbell and Jeremy Corbell's films distributed by Orchard 1091. So he's in trouble financially too. He hasn't started crying online yet though, right? He has not started crying online. And 1 second, I just wanted to share, a lot of people are talking about the fact that it appears, I suppose, that a member of the government who is interested in these topics is sort of shitting on the idea that this stuff is classified, or excuse me, that Grusch is talking about aliens. But before we get to that, I want to make sure that I show the source material for what I talked about earlier, which is that disclosure is canceled, right? Listen, these people create the illusion of things. We've got the illusion of a whistleblower. We've got the illusion of an alien body created by Jaime Maussan and his buddies ripping apart dead babies and gluing them back together. We've got the illusion of somebody that really cares about alien disclosure in the form of Stephen Greer. All these people care about is the goddamn cash. They're here for the money. Don't forget that. It's an important, that's the first thing that you have to recognize and understand when you go looking into these matters, is that these UFO celebrities are here for the cash. They're not here for disclosure. They don't care about you, and they don't care about your experience. Unless they could sell it and make some money, they could give a shit. And that's the reality. And their illusions are fading as we see the true nature of these people. Look at Stephen Greer. I went 2 months without a check. This is a tragedy. I need my money, right? It's so ridiculous. And he's a millionaire. He's already a millionaire. So this is the transcript from that event with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. And this is a question he was asked. So David Grusch, the whistleblower who came forward to News Nation, said he reached out to you to share his discoveries and that you didn't follow up. So did you follow up and investigate his claims? He says he still hasn't heard from you. So ultimately, why haven't you two connected? Dr. Kirkpatrick says, so Mr. Grusch, since Arrow has stood up and since I've been the director, has not come to see us, and not provided any information. And there's a follow-up question. And so he also says that he briefed you before you assumed your position in Arrow. Have you had the chance to follow up on any of the inquiries he made or talk to any of the witnesses? Dr. Kirkpatrick says, the last time I believe I spoke with Mr. Grusch was when I was in the J2 at the U.S. Space Command about 5 years ago. And it was not on this topic. Now, we have interviewed a whole range of people, over 30 people now. I think we've interviewed most of the people that he may have talked to, but we don't know that. And we have extended an invitation at least 4 or 5 times now for him to come in over the last 8 months or so, and has been declined. So what's the deal? The whistleblower doesn't want to blow the whistle? Isn't he here to blow the whistle? Where's the whistleblowing going on? Oh, the whistleblower is going on in monetized UFO shit videos by News Nation, monetized garbage fake stories by Ross Coulthard and him, monetized long form interviews with what is it, Yes Theory and others that are YouTube, profiteers. That's where the so-called whistleblowing is happening. And it's important to note and understand, why won't he go to anybody except for the safe zone, right? He goes to The Intercept. He goes to News Nation. He goes to Ross Coulthard and Leslie Keane, right? He goes to Yes Theory, who did nothing but lick his asshole and tell him what a hero he was. That guy is a shit interviewer. He is terrible. Just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. David Grusch is carefully avoiding scrutiny. Dr. Kirkpatrick, despite what the UFO true believers think of him, they hate him. Despite all of that, Dr. Kirkpatrick is very skeptical of claims made. And this right here is very important, because Dr. Kirkpatrick believes he may have interviewed all the people that David Grusch was talking to. And he still issued a statement saying they have no proof of non-human intelligence. They have no proof of aliens. They have no proof of non-human, bodies recovered. Kirkpatrick basically pissed all over the disclosure dorks, disclosure boners. Boy, that's a strange visual to think about. But he basically pissed all over Dave Grusch's claims. And now he's shitting on Dave Grusch, calling him a liar. Basically, Dave Grusch, who's lying? One of these two guys is lying. Oh, who has a history of lying so far? Oh, Dave Grusch. Dave Grusch has lied several times and been caught lying several times now. Has Kirkpatrick been caught lying? Not that I'm aware of. So maybe, just maybe, Kirkpatrick has already talked to the UFO wackadoos that talked to Dave Grusch, and he came away thoroughly unconvinced that they have any proof of alien technology, non-human intelligence, alien bodies, alien spaceships, or anything. And I think it's interesting. What are we going to do? Because I know for a fact, this is some inside baseball. Do you know that FOIA requests are being sent right now, trying to get all the emails? And once all the emails from Kirkpatrick come back, we're going to know exactly who's telling the truth in this situation and exactly who's lying. Let me know in the live chat. Who do you think is lying? Is Dr. Kirkpatrick lying? Well, there's going to be a paper trail, and that's glorious. There's going to be a paper trail because Dr. Kirkpatrick is a government employee, and as such, his emails are public record, and so they're FOIA-able. And oh boy, is this going to be a shitstorm to come. You want to talk about disclosure? We're going to get this. We're going to get disclosure that this guy has no evidence and refused to go give evidence to Kirkpatrick. I believe that we're going to find out through FOIAs. God bless John from the Black Vault. He's going to FOIA this shit. We're going to find out who's lying here, and it's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious if we find out. Well, either way, it'll be glorious. One way or the other, somebody's lying here. And so the carefully constructed illusion of a UFO whistleblower is being destroyed before our very eyes, because after all, he wants to spill the secrets, right? But somehow he can't. Not to the New York Times, who contacted him, not to the New York Post that contacted him, not to the Washington Post that contacted him. No, he can only talk to people that are UFO true believers that will lick his asshole, give him the UFO circle jerk treatment, and tell him what a hero of disclosure he is when he has disclosed nothing. He has just repeated the same old tired claims that we chronicled 14 other whistleblowers making very similar claims. None of those 14 whistleblowers ever came through with the evidence or proof. And if I was a betting man, I'd say that Dave Grusch is going to be 15 on our list of fake UFO whistleblowers that fill their pockets with UFO dollars every chance they get, but somehow are unable. How are they somehow unable? They can fill their pockets with money. They can get documentary film deals, but they can't make good on their promises for evidence, right? What do we get? We get kick the can. And I think it's interesting that they just keep kicking the can. And I think, how stupid do you have to be? How stupid do you have to be to keep falling for the kick the can? You know, it's like Lucy and Charlie Brown with the football. No, I won't pull it away from you this time, Charlie Brown. But they always do. And people continue to follow this. It's just ridiculous. I got a few more things to share here with you because there's some interesting things happening on Capitol Hill. We're going to finally get Grusch in a skiff. According to Representative Eric Burleson, there will be an additional DOD IG skiff meeting where Congress will be allowed to read the Grusch report, not to be confused with the ICIG skiff meeting happening next week. The other whistleblower he mentions in the clip from 10 or 15 years ago, this is from Mike Colangelo. Maybe he's thinking about Bob Lazar and got the number of years wrong. Yeah. So we've got one bullshit or fake whistleblower backing up another one. You got to love it. You got to love it. That's the super duper prover maneuver, right? You get one UFO wackadoo with no evidence to say the same things that another UFO wackadoo with no evidence is saying. And somehow, you know, that's evidence somehow. You got to love it. All right. We're going to share this. And one of these days, I'm going to learn not to share from Twitter because for some reason, sharing videos from Twitter often buffers for me. So this is the rep talking about.
But I think that we've got another inspector general hearing that's coming up. And then in addition to the.
So another inspector general meeting is coming up.
Inspector General for the Department of Defense now is going to have another meeting in the skiff with us where they're going to allow us to read the Grusch report.
Now, there has been talk. Now, say David Grusch is only one guy. So have you heard of anyone else coming forward that wants to talk to you in a secure setting and not publicly?
This is interesting because all the UFO grifters are claiming there's 30 or 40 whistleblowers. So again, this is a constructed false reality. They are lying when they say there's 30 or 40 other whistleblowers. And I know that because I've talked to congressional aides. I've talked to others who all say the same thing that this representative says here when asked if there's other whistleblowers.
That might corroborate what he's saying. Has there been any contact?
Remember, other whistleblowers are supposed to corroborate what Dave Grusch has claimed. That's what the Grift Squad is telling everybody. Keeping those disclosure boners hard for everybody, right?
Still simply his account.
So far, I haven't heard of anyone else. Now, there was the gentleman.
He's in a position to know. He hasn't heard of anyone else. So who's lying? The UFO Grift Squad, who says there's 30 or 40 other whistleblowers that are all going to confirm? Well, it depends on who you ask. The number of whistleblowers keeps changing, right? But multiple people have said that all of these people are going to confirm what Dave Grusch said is true. And meanwhile, the members of the government who are the people that should know about these things, no, there's nobody else. Then he talks about another whistleblower from years ago. And Mike thinks that he's referencing Bob Lazar, which is a goddamn joke. You're referencing a convicted pimp.
That was a whistleblower, what was it, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? I'm forgetting his name. But I think that we could verify some of the things that Grusch has said with another witness if we have another hearing. But we haven't had anybody that's currently active in the Department of Defense or the Pentagon that can come. That's
no other whistleblowers. Who's been lying then?
at this
I don't
time.
know why we're having this issue. He's saying hopefully this skiff situation will let other whistleblowers know that it's safe to blow the whistle. But we're still waiting on Grusch to blow the whistle. Yeah, Michael B says Twitter sucks with vids. I'm going to stop doing that, and I apologize to my audience. I should take the time going forward. If I am going to share something I find on Twitter, I will screen capture it, and then I will play it for you here, free from garbage, right? Free from the buffering and whatever. So it's interesting, however, that all of these, the Grift Squad has been saying that all of these whistleblowers are coming forward. Where are they? It's been almost 6 months since Dave Grusch has come forward. We haven't even been given a single name of his so-called witnesses, but they claim that he has 30 or 40 witnesses, right? Yeah, Amy Collins says, how many whistleblowers did the congressional aide claim? The congressional aide that I spoke to said there is no other whistleblowers. There's no one that he would term a whistleblower. There's just Grusch making all these claims. And by the way, he called Grusch an extremely problematic individual. I said, what do you mean by problematic? He said, just a lot of problems. I said, does he have evidence? And the congressional aide said he doesn't think that Grusch has any evidence. And by the way, I've talked to multiple people within the government, both the United States government and the Canadian government, who think that Dave Grusch is some kind of psyop, that he doesn't have any information. And a lot of reason that people think that is the same reason that I do. You're going to declare yourself a whistleblower, and then you're going to come out, and it's 157 days later, and you still haven't put up one shred of evidence. That's the shittiest whistleblower in the history of whistleblowers. 157 days, almost 158 now, and still absolutely positively zero actual evidence so far. And what we need to recognize and understand is this skiff nonsense. People are saying it's a waste of time and money in my live chat, and I would agree with you. How much money are we going to waste on a wackadoo? How much money are we going to waste on a goddamn former mental patient who says that government has alien bodies? How much of my taxpayer dollars, your taxpayer dollars, are we going to waste on a wackadoo who has no evidence? He's a goddamn mental patient wackadoo who says the government has alien bodies. Great. Can you show us the bodies? Well, I can't. It's classified. Did you see the bodies? No, but people told me they saw them. It's a cat and mouse game of bullshit. That's what it is. And all of these, look, how much money did the first government hearing cost? Now we're going to have more hearings. Now we're going to have skiff meetings. Now we got to pay for him to take a plane to testify. He doesn't even have plane fare. Oh, that's another thing. Disclosure's canceled because Dave Grusch can't afford a goddamn plane ticket. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's childish. It's nonsensical. Welcome to disclosure, you dorks, right? All right, let's see. We'll take some comments and questions from the live chat. JLW is here and says some kind of psyop. Yeah, it makes people get pissed off with the whole area if anyone real were to come through. Yeah, and listen, perception management psyops are run by the government or all governments to manage the perceptions of people, and also at times to distract people from other things that they would prefer you not be occupied with, right? Gan says, do we really know how advanced Nazi technology was? I don't think we do. Well, there's a lot of arguments for Nazi exotic technology, but the greatest argument that they didn't have any real breakthroughs were that they lost the war. There's all of these fake stories of so-called Wunderweapons, right? Wonder weapons of the Third Reich. They had anti-gravity, they had flying saucers. All of that was fake stories and propaganda put forth after the war by people who wanted, who were sort of fans of Nazis and wanted to see, a Fourth Reich. It all was in European tabloid newspapers and things that aren't good sources. And except for the Nazi Bell there really isn't evidence of all of the claims that were made, like the honeyboo and all of these other things. Yeah, and somebody mentioned it's a nothing burger factory, right? Yeah, and one of the side effects, Go Kicks Rocks is here. He probably won't get the renewed clearance, especially if he's under investigation. Well, allegedly under investigation. We'll see. Yeah. So questions or comments for me, please put them in all capital letters. Derek Galloway says, I speak fluent German. Ich spreche Deutsch nichts vergeht's, Derek Galloway. And I think I just said, I speak German, not very good. Interestingly, German is very close to Polish, and I grew up with a lot of Polish lessons. And then later, I had to take German in high school. I was forced to. They didn't give me a choice. Interesting language, very difficult syntax and things. I never was very good at speaking German. You know, I did okay in the class just because it was almost cheating being able to speak not very fluent Polish, but decent, you know, broken Polish. Being able to speak Polish a good deal helped me get through the German classes, but I speak German terribly. I still remember how to hit on a woman in German, though. So if I'm ever in Germany and no longer married, you know, I'm good to go. Randy says the best wonder weapon the Nazis had was the first jet plane, but Hitler ruined it. Yeah, a lot of things were mismanaged. They could have ruled the skies with those advanced aircraft they were developing. Instead, I think they put an awful lot of resources into the V-2 rockets, which were largely very unsuccessful. They did a lot of damage, but not as much as the money and time and slave labor invested into those weapons. Operation Shutdown is here and says Nothing Burger Factory. Yeah, it's definitely, this is a nothing. Welcome to the Nothing Burger Factory. After the skiff and no evidence comes out, then they'll kick the can and it'll be something else. Oh, he's going to apply to talk about more details to the Pentagon and try to get clearance for it or some shit. There's always a kick the can. There's always a wait and see. Big things are coming and nothing ever does, right? And again, we're on 157 days now of Grusch's grift, and there's still no evidence. But hey, the good news is that people have made hundreds of thousands of dollars off of him and his story. And I find that incredibly fascinating. The fact that you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars off a fantastic, sensationalized story that has zero evidence, you know, it's like somebody... What if somebody came out and declared themselves a whistleblower and said that the government had unicorns, right? And had no evidence of it. Would anybody care? But somehow people are interested in aliens, so people do care, right? Dan says, Greer really lost me when he claimed he could call UFOs down from the sky. Yeah. Gora G says he'll need to apply to use visual aids in the skiff. Yeah. Deb from SAC is getting dangerous tonight. Welcome, Deb from SAC, longtime show supporter and channel member. Thanks for being a member. Says, warning, I'm having a glass of wine, so things are about to get cray. Don't hold me responsible. We'll give you a pass for tonight. You can get as crazy as you want in our live chat, Deb from SAC. You're always welcome, and thanks for being a member. Truthseekers, see get aliens, says Derek Galloway. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Greer, oh, wait a minute. Here, Randy says, why is this thing working? RAM in this computer? I don't know if I don't have enough RAM in this computer. Shouldn't be. I got to reboot. That's what I got to do. Yeah, you ever know a guy who works on computers? His computers are always crappy. It's just like my brother's a mechanic. He's an auto mechanic, and his cars are always like falling apart and barely running because he's busy working on other people's stuff. That's my excuse, and I'm going to stick to it. Randy says Greer must have one heck of a phone plan to call UFOs. Yeah. And Patty says Greer sells his UFO app to call UFOs. It's basically transcendental meditation. It's exactly transcendental meditation. Yes. Deb from Sac says Steven's the best. No, you are. I think you should drink the whole bottle of wine. That's what I think. Good homemade wine or store-bought wine, somebody is asking her. Do you know, Randy, I used to make wine. I made wine for a long time. And then I suddenly woke up one day and realized that I should stop making wine because, number one, I don't really like wine, or I didn't drink wine very much. So it was kind of stupid. I would make gallons and gallons of wine. I would give it away. And it was pretty good. My favorite, I do like dessert wines, like have like a mixed berry wine. That was my favorite. Blueberry, raspberry, strawberry. That makes some good wine, right? And I would ferment it with champagne yeast. So it would be pretty high in alcohol content and pretty sweet. All right, we'll take some more comments and questions. Any comments or questions for me, please put them in all capital letters. Deb from Sac says, oh, I have to read the super chats too. Deb, trust me, Stephen, you don't want me to get too crazy, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. And we have to take a moment to recognize our kind and generous benefactors, which also happen to be Deb from Sac, who's also a member. Very, very generous of you, both being a member and a $5 super sticker and a $10 super chat. Vegas Grift event will have mummy artifacts this weekend, allegedly. I don't think so. It's against the law to import dead bodies into the United States, or so I'm told. I've done a lot of research because of that mummy grift. I don't think that, not the Mexican mummies will not be in Las Vegas this weekend. If they are, I'll be extremely surprised because they probably had to sneak them in illegally to make those dollars. We'll see what happens. But thank you, Deb from Sac, for your kindness, your generosity, and your support of the show. Thank you all for helping us to praise the cash, Deb from Sac.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash, yeah. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash, yeah.
We're praising it tonight. Thank you, Deb from Sac. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. So I think now it's a good time to remind you, we read every single super chat. So if you send any support our way, or you send a PayPal pledge during the show, we give you a shout out and a big thank you. We read every single super chat. If you send us a PayPal pledge, just be sure to add a note and give us your chat room user ID and let us know anything you want us to say on air for you or read out loud. We will do it. So far, people have been good and not made me read anything terrible. Usually it's a note of support, and we appreciate that very much. Let me see here. So we're a viewer-supported show. And while other people get paid millions of dollars to lie to you, we try to be factual in our reporting. And we have an 8+ year track record of getting stories factually correct. We were the first to report on David Grusch having documentary deals in place before he even became a public figure. And what you know, documentary, and more to come. We do our very best to give you factual reporting, to peel back the layers of deception often employed by the Grift Squad, and bring you the real truth behind their fake truth. And isn't it funny? I love the term truther, because all the so-called truthers do is lie to you and take your money. That's what the Q truthers did. That's what the UFO truthers do. That's what the spiritual guru truthers do. They just lie and take your money. We use the PBS model here, which means we do our very best to create great content, and then we hope that people will support our work, throw a couple bucks in our hat. Like I said, we read every single super chat. So we're going to have Mr. Ian, the man with the golden voice, remind you how you too can support us. The show is not over. I will be back after a brief, short message about how you can support our efforts here.
Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal, or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Campion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members-only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truth Seekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Truth Seekers is a viewer-supported show. Now there's a great way to support these broadcasts and show your support. Please be sure and check out our merchandise store. Links to our 2 merchandise online stores are in the links to this video or podcast. The Amazon storefront ships super quickly in the United States, Great Britain, and in many more places. Amazon may not ship to your country or location. If that's the case, hit our second merchandise link in the description and visit our Redbubble storefront. Merchandise from our Redbubble storefront ships worldwide, but may take longer than Amazon. We've got a great deal of super high quality merchandise for you to choose from, including t-shirts, phone cases, sweatshirts, and even pillows. The feedback from our products have been overwhelmingly great. Quality products and fast shipping. People all over the world are buying some merchandise and showing their support of the show. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, who are buying some merchandise and helping us to continue this journey. Thanks for being here. This is Truth Seekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like, and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat room during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truth Seekers. Truth Seekers. Truth Seekers.
Okay, so we are back. Be taking a few more comments and questions from the live chat. And I did have some questions about the in-person deal. I've got 2 takers so far. Remember, in order to be a guest here on Truth Seekers and an in-person studio guest, the guest has to agree to a polygraph. So it's a bit of a hard sell. But I do have 2 people so far that have agreed. I have to contact them back and schedule them. One of them is wreaking havoc, who you may be familiar with. He's kind of a magnet of, he believes, I think that he's a magnet of paranormal things. He films orbs and UFOs and strange things. And the other is Gary Arnold, who was a previous guest here, who records, or I think he kind of claims that he records EVPs on demand. And even at one point claimed that the ghostly entity gave him a directive to buy a lottery ticket, and then he won the lottery. So this is going to be an interesting experiment in polygraph exams, because we're not just going to have them here, we're going to polygraph them and see what the results of the polygraph say about their various claims. I will be taking some comments and questions from the live chat. This Grusch situation is kind of funny to me because, again, we're at 157 days. And that rep that we talked about did mention that he believed that they may have discovered some form of advanced propulsion, but that it was likely of human making. So what we get is an awful lot of pushback. We don't get evidence that Grusch's claims are true. Instead, we get evidence that Grusch, like many people, may have been fooled by high technology. It's no secret that the United States government is developing incredible propulsion technology, worlds ahead of anything. Look up the SR-72, which is rumored to use a multi-engine system so that it could have incredible performance, both at low Mach speed and at up to, the rumors are, Mach 8. You can look up Son of a Blackbird on YouTube. Maybe we'll do an entire show just on the SR-72. Incredibly interesting technology, including incredibly advanced propulsion technology, the likes of which the world has never seen. Scramjet, Ramjet, and more. This SR-72, which is the rumored replacement of the SR-71, is believed to already be flying by many in the know who follow black budget programs. So, and we have detailed here various times before. I do not dispute that Mr. Grusch may have stumbled across some sort of crash retrieval program. The government has and has had for decades crash retrieval programs. And these are programs to recover usually foreign technology. Wrong one. So part of me, if I'm not impressed with Grusch's claims, after all, he could easily have stumbled across technology that he was not familiar with or aware of. And people mistake that, oh, we don't have technology like this. It must have come from aliens. Well, you have no idea what is in the hangars of a place like Lockheed Skunk Works. There is incredible secret technology that is being developed and continues to be developed. And as far as crash retrieval programs, people attack me and say, oh, you don't believe that there's crash retrieval programs? No, I have said 100 times that the government indeed has crash retrieval programs. When those Chinese balloons were over our skies, a team had to go retrieve the debris. That's a crash retrieval. It doesn't mean they have alien technology, however. That's quite a leap. And the government has had Project Moondust and other projects, which you can look up. And the goal of those projects was to recover Russian space technology or Chinese space technology or Indian space technology, any adversarial technology that deorbited or crashed somehow, they would go and pick it up. We also have to recognize and understand that there are incredible advances being made into even just material science lately. Things like graphene and 3D printing. There is metal 3D printing that prints little by little and sort of matches the description of some people's claims about alien materials, how it appeared to be molded, or, there was no rivets, or it was built at a molecular level. All of these things could be high technology that is being mistaken for alien technology. Maybe Grusch got a whiff of some crash retrieval program and just assumed that it was aliens, or the people talking to him assumed it was aliens. All I'm saying is it's a huge, huge jump to go from the government has crash retrievals. That's a verifiable fact. The government, the United States government, the Russian government, the Chinese government, all high-tech first world governments are going to go retrieve something that crashes. The difference is that truly alien technology, or is it something else? Is it something out of Lockheed Skunk Works? Is it something out of Boeing? Is it something out of some startup that we're not even aware of? Do you know there is over 200 drone startups? What do I mean? There's over 200 new companies in the last couple of years that have started up, and their goal is to create and enhance drone technology. We've seen those drone swarm technologies. Have you seen those drone light displays that can be done with coordinated swarms of hundreds or thousands of drones? These are new drone startup companies that didn't exist just a few years ago. So it's very likely that some of that technology crashed and somebody picked it up, didn't understand it, and thought it must be alien technology. You know, this rush to the government has aliens because they have crash retrieval programs, it's a bridge too far. Of course, we would be interested in picking up adversarial technology. If a Russian space satellite deorbits and crashes in the Pacific Ocean, we send the Navy and a retrieval team to get it. And then we study it. We rip it apart. We see how the Soviets are building things. We examine the materials, you know, the electronics, the computers, everything, in order to see what they're doing and maybe improve our own weapon systems, satellite systems, space launch systems, etc. So these long rumored alien crash retrievals may simply be you know, stories that get misconstrued. It's like the telephone game. You know, by the time you get to the third or fourth person in the line, the story is nothing like what was originally said. So, you know, do I think that Grusch talked? I think that Grusch talked to a lot of UFO wackadoos who truly believe what they're saying. So it doesn't mean that these people are liars. It simply means that they're mistaken. And I can forgive someone for being mistaken as long as they can admit they were mistaken. But there seems to be this you know, real vitriol. After all, the UFO community for decades have wanted the United States government and others to take these sightings seriously. And now it appears that the government is, but the government is coming up very short of proving that these are aliens. There's no evidence that this is alien technology. However, you know, the UFO true believers, if the government doesn't tell them what they want, they're bad guys. Look at how Kirkpatrick was first championed. You know, oh, this is going to be great. We're finally going to get the truth about the UFOs. As soon as he comes out and says that we have no evidence of extraterrestrial technology, suddenly he's part of the cover-up and he's a bad guy, and people start, you know, wanting him fired. And isn't it interesting that he's stepping down now and he's going to be replaced? That's an interesting development, and interesting that he's basically going to work for Raytheon. So that's pretty good. I wasn't aware. Complizer, thanks for being a member, asks, what do you think about that Malaysian airplane and Salvador Payas' opinions about that? I haven't caught up with that interview. Wasn't he on Alien Scientist? I should have asked Jeremy to join that panel, because I'd love to know if Salvador Payas knows that David Wilcock is planning to, you know, make hover cars with his technology. I wonder if he's getting a license fee. I haven't caught up with that interview yet, so I'm not sure what, I have no idea what he said about it. But what I can tell you about the Malaysian airline is that's another grifter. That's another grift squad thing. Listen, these videos have long been debunked as completely and totally fake. In fact, I will show you some evidence and proof right now that the MH370 videos are fake. And the fact that people are wasting time and energy on a story that begins with fake videos, it's kind of everything that you need to know, right? About this thing. And now I don't have access to them. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not caught up with the drama, but I think UFO Shane like deleted his Twitter account, and I sent him one of these videos that I had made. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I can't get to the video that I sent him right now. It's on another computer. But I made a video showing that in the one video, none of the clouds move for the entire length of the video. It's a static image. So what that means is that somebody superimposed an animated plane and 3 orbs on top of a still image of clouds. The clouds never move. I blew them up. I did a detailed, careful analysis. So the MH370 grift, and that researcher Ashton said some nonsensical things in a recent interview with Jeremy. That one I did catch. You know, science matters. And when you got an idiot that calls himself a researcher that says things like, that animation from the video game doesn't match, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He absolutely doesn't know what he's talking about. And in one of the videos that I have carefully analyzed, I haven't gotten through all of them, the clouds do not move one bit. That can only happen if the video is fake. If somebody put a still image of clouds and then put an animation of a plane and those rotating orbs over a still image. It's very clear to anybody that looks at it, especially that specific video, that video is fake because the background never moves. And I zoomed in on each of the clouds as the plane passes. There is zero movement of the clouds. Now he's saying there is movement of the clouds. I don't know what his qualifications are. I've been video editing since digital video began. I think, you know, in the 90s is when I started doing digital video. What are his qualifications to say the clouds are moving when I can clearly show they're not? And of course, he's asking for money. There's always a money angle. And it's very tragic to grift off of a tragedy like that, in my opinion. All right, so we'll take some more comments and questions from the live chat before we bounce on out of here. Local 556 is here. I also want to know where Eric Davis and Com Keller got their belief of us having off-world vehicles. I mean, Com Keller thought water-filled beads were extraterrestrial materials. Yeah, he's kind of a goober. Right? What Asian Local 556? These people are wackadoos. Yes. Chris Bartell says, Colm and Davis are most likely victims of Hal Puthoff Kit Green PSYOP. Neither of them have worked anywhere under real special access banners. Yeah. And so they're taking it's this, like I said, it's one UFO wackadoo telling other UFO wackadoo stuff, then they repeat it to other people. Yeah. 1 second, friends. My wife is messaging me here, and that's usually something that I have to, you know, address. Yeah. So more comments and questions here. But I agree with Chris Bartell here. By the way, Chris Bartell, thanks very much for being a member. We appreciate your support. And I think you're dead on. All roads lead back to Hal Puthoff. And by the way, did you know him and his wife were both high-ranking Scientologists? So that proves that Hal Puthoff is a wackadoo. And Hal Puthoff was also fooled by Uri Geller into thinking Uri Geller had superpowers, and Uri Geller fooled him with children's magic tricks. That'll show you how smart Mr. Smarty Pants science guy Hal Putoff is. He's an idiot. Moody Mongol is here. While I didn't study the videos in depth, I just thought they have used an advanced flight simulator engine to create it, as that would have all the assets to do it. Yeah, you're right. Deb from Sac says, Greer isn't a psycho. He is a con man, a clever one. Always a mix of truth with the BS to appear credible and confuse people. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. He's not a stupid man. He's a pathological liar, though. You know, you notice how he's always getting caught lying about things. Oh, members of my team got murdered. Really? Can we see the death certificate? Can we talk to the police who investigated the murder? Well, no, there was no investigation. You know why? Because none of that shit happened. He just made it up. One person on his team died of cancer. You know, people die of cancer. It's a tragedy, but that doesn't mean they were murdered, right? Dan said psyop, not psycho. Yeah. I don't think that Greer is a psyop. I think he's a grifter. There's a big difference, right? A big difference, right? Yeah, Randy says no doubt that foreign countries also have crash retrieval programs too, right? Moody Mongol says, wait a minute, polygraphs are dodge, right? Dodge enough. They're not used in court. Ain't going to take a test that has an amount of randomness to it. Well, I think that polygraphs can be a useful tool in determining the truthfulness of an individual telling stories. Let's just leave it at that. Steve Nicholson, what do you think of the Boyd Bushman alien pictures? They're fake, completely and totally fake. And, you know, Boyd Bushman was an interesting character. He certainly worked on secret projects and things, but none of his bullshit pans out. In fact, I'm aware that one experiment he claimed he ran where he jammed two very huge, powerful magnets together and they fell slower than a regular same weighted rock or something, that didn't pan out. People have tried that experiment, and he lied about that. He lied about the aliens. You know, what were they, like Walmart little statues of aliens that you put in your yard or something? They were like garden statues. They were fake alien props that he set up and took pictures of. People found those almost instantly. Boyd Bushman was a wackadoo who told interesting stories but never proved anything. So, you know, and that's unfortunate because for a while I was listening to him thinking that he was the real deal. And then he got crazier and crazier. Then he starts posting fake pictures of, you know, showing fake pictures of aliens that were really something that somebody buys at Walmart. Kind of killed him being a truth teller to me, right? Yeah, I'm not aware of any issues, but hold on, I'll check. I hate when that kind of stuff happens. It's amazing any of this stuff works, right? Amazing any of this works. So much technology. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds fine on my end. Maybe I ought to move the mic closer to me. I apologize for any of that. I'll have the audio files in my inbox bitching. Those guys are relentless. And it's always guys that will, I'm a sound man and your sound is terrible. Great, dude. You know, you know, I used to say in the music business, you know what a sound man is? A failed musician. And the camera angles, too, are in flight sim. Engines, including the satellite camera view. Now, if they use military flight sim, who knows what you could have created? Yeah. Yes. Alga Ray is here. Thanks for holding down the Twitch chat. Says, in 2023, garden statues and Yoda balloons passes disclosure. Yeah. No, I wasn't aware of that. Did you see Gomer's show today? She obviously saw yours yesterday, backpedaling. She's a big fan of mine. She watches every one of my shows, or so I'm told. So is Jimmy Church. My biggest fans are David Wilcock, Jimmy Church, Christina Gomez, Goofon, Third Phase of Moon, Stephen Greer. They all watch. They it's like music to their ears when I bust their balls. They love it. Randy says the sound is fine. Yeah, I think it's a buffering issue, not an audio issue. But here's what I'll do. I will shut everything down, but this usually helps. Shut down everything but the StreamYard window. Now I've got nothing else open but the StreamYard. Oh, and I wanted to take a moment to just announce we're still trying this Truthseekers Classic thing, and this weekend is Alien weekend. So, you know, one thing I've learned doing this is that you got to give people what they want. You guys come here for stuff about the alien. Yeah, buffering issues. I'm gonna be back to broadcasting from my office next week, and it can't come too soon. For those unaware, here, not such an incredible computer. In the office, I have a huge beast, and we should never have these issues. Yeah, I see that. But anyway, let me get this together here to share. All right, one of the most requested, one of the things I get messaged most about is the Skinny Bob alien video. Skinny Bob alien video, is it real? Real alien or clever hoax? Let's find out. Alien captured on film. So this is one of the classics that we'll be playing. This is tomorrow night. This is on the Skinny Bob alien video. A pretty detailed deep dive and analysis into it. Regardless of whether it's a hoax or real, it's a pretty incredible piece of film, and I did some enhancements of it and more, and they're all included in this. And then also this weekend, like I said, it's Alien weekend this weekend, and this is one of my favorite episodes right here. This is Stranger at the Pentagon. The strange story of Valiant Thor. For those unaware, this is one of those early contactee stories. And the story essentially is that an alien from the planet Venus came to Earth and contacted the government and then spent time at the Pentagon. And it's a whole big, long story. A lot of problems with that story. So we do a deep dive into the whole story from Frank Strange's of Stranger at the Pentagon. This is one of my favorite episodes because I think very little has changed since 1956 or 57 when this story first originated. And isn't it interesting how little has changed? This is on Saturday night. And by the way, I will be in the live chat probably all 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I like those because it gives me an opportunity to just not be on screen and just chat with people in the live chat. And then finally, this coming Sunday, again, it's Alien Week. We're trying to give the audience what they want. This coming Sunday, this is one of my favorite stories as well, was an alien shot and killed at McGuire Air Force Base. And the reason I love this story is because I grew up spending summers right near McGuire Air Force Base. And this story is incredible, and this one's in my gray basket. I don't know why the guy telling this story would just make up this story. And by the way, I have found one sort of corroborating witness that agrees with what the primary witness in this story said, which is essentially somehow or another there was an alien running around on McGuire Air Force Base. It was shot and killed, and then this primary witness to the story was told to brief the brass on an alien being shot and killed the night before and taken to, guess where? Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, of course. That's where all the aliens go. This one's in my gray basket. I can't prove this story is not true, and the primary witness seems to be credible to me. I've spoken to him on the phone several times. I'm going to try to get a fresh interview with him. But in the meantime, we have this as a Truthseekers classic episode. One of my favorites was an alien shot and killed at McGuire Air Force Base. So we've got you loaded up for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be in the live chat, not live on screen. And I'm going to go into the live chats and try to explain, because I don't really understand why this is real hard to understand. If the title says TS Classics, it's a repeat. Yes. Because people come in the live chat and they're like, I don't understand. This isn't live. Well, it's a previous live, and we're trying this, and we're going to see. I'm going to continue. I want to do this every weekend until the end of November, at least, to see if it does have any impact both on our view count and on our income level here. Interestingly, the reruns are fully monetized. When I do a live show, it gets demonetized before the show's even over, usually. But the reruns, for some reason, they run the filter premiere. Those are okay. I don't understand it. I really don't understand, why the lives are so highly scrutinized, and yet the pre-recorded stuff, most of it that I post, they decide is fine for ads. So, but it is what it is. I don't understand YouTube sometimes, but it's interesting that our reruns are allowed to be fully monetized and have the ad revenue generated, but our fresh new live shows get demonetized usually right after the stream ends. It's still on right now. Praise the cash, right? And every day, no, I just checked. It's still on. Guruji says, is tonight's show yellow yet? No, yellow is limited or no ads for those unaware. I really don't know, Oh, that's interesting. James Pepper says, McGuire Air Force Base had that nuclear fire right next to the road that goes between Dix and McGuire. Yeah, when I was a kid, you could go right on the base. Now they shut the base. You can't, the public can't access either base now, right? A foreclosure boner beats a disclosure boner, says Kmei 77, right? From your mouth to God's ears, Steve Nicholson says, in 50 years, people will be watching Steven in reruns. I hope so. It's a form of immortality, right? I'll be praising my kids will be praising my cash for me long after I'm dead, hopefully, right? I think it's interesting. It may be that we're premature in going, let's run some reruns a couple nights a week, but I wanted to give it a try. So far, people really like it because it brings back some of the old classic episodes and the best ones. And it may help us increase our revenue here. I don't know. How do you squeeze another $1 out of this thing? I don't know. Reruns, somebody said. So we're trying it. And also, just so that people get in the habit of knowing, every night at 9 p.m., it's Truthseekers time. And I hope that you guys will be here for these replays. I'll be in the live chat. I'm going to the cabin tomorrow, which I can't tell you. Every week I look incredibly forward to that. I've got some work to do there. I'm chopping down some trees. Last week, I should give an update. So last week I went to the cabin and I was chopping down trees. And there's a couple of trees that make my wife and I, quite honestly, nervous because they're standing dead trees. That means the tree has died, but it's still standing up. It didn't fall down or anything. It's just dead. And the good news is those make great firewood because they've been drying out, dying for a few years. You just cut them down, chop them up, and they're ready to burn. The bad news is these standing dead trees and the other tree, one of them wasn't dead, but it was in the way, and I had to cut it down. The standing dead trees came down fine. They plopped right down, right where I wanted them. And for those who've never had to chop a tree down, it's not as easy as it sounds. You have to notch it in the direction you want it to go on the front side, and then do a back cut and hope it all works out and the tree goes down and there's no damage. It doesn't fall on you. It's very dangerous. Some of these trees are huge, and it's scary, right? It's kind of scary to me. But anyway, I got the standing dead trees down, no problem. I start chopping them up. I even split most of that, so I have plenty of extra firewood for winter. But this live tree was right near the cabin, the main cabin, and it was leaning towards the cabin. So, I asked my friends that know more about tree work than me what to do, and they all said put some lines on it, pulling it the other way, put a come along on it. A come along is that thing with the winch, and you can get it really tight. So I put the come along on it. I put 4 ropes on it. It still fell on the cabin. And but the good news is there was no major damage when it fell on the cabin, and there could have been. So I felt very blessed. I said a prayer before I chopped that tree down, and God must have heard me, because my prayer was, please let this just come down and not hurt me and not damage the cabin. Please, God, amen. That's what I remember specifically. That's what I said. So the tree did come down. It came down the completely wrong way. I had to cut the ropes to get it to finally fall, and then it fell, and I was hoping it would fall right in front of the cabin and miss hitting the cabin. No, it smacked the cabin and fell right on the cabin roof. Then I had to get ladders out, get up on the cabin roof and chop it all down and push it off the roof, and that turned into a whole big thing. But the good news is it didn't fall on me and kill me. It was what most people would typically call a widowmaker, and it did not damage the cabin, except for there's a piece of trim on the side of the cabin roof, and it smacked that and busted it. It's $2 piece of wood. I'll put it back. I'm not going to worry about a piece of trim getting busted. That could have destroyed the cabin. The ropes were holding it from falling fast. So that was the saving grace. Yes, Crypto Alchemist says, woohoo, Steven lives. Yeah, I managed to make it through without any damage. And so this weekend, I have to cut another tree that's leaning right towards the cabin. But then I think that's the last tree that I have to cut down. And my only goal this weekend is to cut that last tree down and not die. And maybe I'll spend some time processing firewood. For those unaware, my cabin is completely run by wood. Everything is wood. The water heater runs on wood. The kitchen stove and the kitchen oven run on wood. We have a propane one as well, but I cook on the wood cook stove. The place is heated by wood. I'm even thinking about making a wood electric generator. I really want to do that. A wood-fired electric generator. So every room has a wood stove for heating. So I have to have plenty of firewood to keep that place good and cooking all winter. I don't like to be cold. I like it to be 80 in there, even when it's 0 outside. And in order to do that, you need plenty of good firewood. The good news is these standing dead trees have become firewood, and that stuff split real easy because it was kind of like laying around, it was dead for years. And the other good news is those standing dead trees were leaning right in this sort of yard area where my children run around and play. And that makes me, pardon me, that makes me nervous. Because a standing dead tree, you never know. It could fall down at any moment if you don't take care of it. So anyway, we got plenty of 2 big trees. Makes plenty of firewood. 2 really big trees. And I already had enough firewood for winter before I took those 2 down. So this firewood is just gravy firewood. And we want to take a moment to thank Complizant for a kind and generous $5. 5 pounds is that? I think. Stephen Ruddy, here's some bucks for sauerkraut and Bretzine. Sauerkraut, and you mean sauerkraut and brats? I know what that is. I don't know what Bretzine is. Pretzels? I don't know. I'm confused. My German friend Complizer, but thanks for being a member, and thank you for the kind and generous $5. Brother, can you spare $1? It's tough out there. Thank you for helping. We appreciate your kindness, generosity, and support. Someday I got to fix these brands so that they all match. But thanks to Complizer. And we also want to take a moment to thank Deb from SAC, our kind and generous benefactors for this evening's show. Thank all you guys for helping us praise the cash.
Praise the cash, 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 praise the cash. Subscribe and hit the like button. Smash it like it's hot.
Smash it like it's hot. Yes. And I would appreciate, I wouldn't be a good YouTuber if I didn't remind you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos on your social media. German money is called marks. You're right. Thank you, Ardent Paranormal. And thanks to our one and only moderator. She stands alone. Ardent Paranormal is our one and only moderator now. And Lunar Sparkle says, property management is a lot of work in the forest. Yeah. You want to keep that land good. Yeah. Moody Mongol says, burning wood, to quote Greta Thunberg, how dare you? It's a renewable resource. And it's the best. My favorite form of heat is wood heat. There's nothing better than sitting by a wood stove in the middle of the winter. I have my chair, it's set up, and it's awesome. It's my favorite thing. How many square feet is the cabin? Currently, it is. Hold on, I got to do some math. It's 12 by 24 times 3. We started with a 12 by 24 cabin. And I thought that was going to be enough. A tiny cabin, 12 by 24. That's what we started with. So that was 288 square feet. But then we did 2 additions, which are also 12 by 24. So that means that the cabin is currently about 865 square feet. That would include the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, and the sunroom. The sunroom and the living room are one big room on each side of the cabin. In the middle of the cabin is the kitchen and the bathroom. So 864 square feet, but we're going to be doubling that again, or not doubling it, but we're going to be building another addition off the back of the kitchen, probably sometime in the spring or summertime. So it's 864 square feet. I'm going to build a couple of bedrooms next. That's what we really need, because now we don't really have bedrooms. There's a sleeping loft in the kitchen, and there's a fold-out bed in the living room, and there's a fold-out bed in the sunroom, and a fold-out bed even in the kitchen. It's a big kitchen because it was sort of a kitchen-living room combination when I first started the cabin. Crypto Alchemist says, I was a moderator here once. Yeah, I removed them all because it was getting ridiculous in there. Go Kicks Rocks is here and says, great show. Yeah, I'm going to call you from the cabin if I remember your number, but I got a new phone, so message me with it. Money used to be marks. It's euro now. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I was not aware of that. Yeah, so Garaji says that would be excellent. I would definitely want a 19th century option for any place I build in addition to a modern one. Yeah, I don't know. I like cabins. In the springtime, I'm building a new one just for me, I think. I don't think my wife will ever go to that other place that I got in the woods. She thinks it's a little too remote, and there's too many bears over there. It's deeper in the mountains and the woods, about 4 miles from the current cabin. So I'll be getting some cabin time in. I hope that you will spend some time this weekend doing something that you love and enjoy as much as I love cabin time. It's my favorite thing in the world. What's not to like? I got a new wood burner too with a glass front in the living room, and it's working much better than the old one. And it makes my life so much easier there, because the old one I had to load it every hour or two to keep that place really cooking and warm. It wasn't really big enough for that for that place. And now I have one that's plenty big for that place, and I only have to load it every like 4 hours. It's awesome. And also, I don't have to struggle in the morning to light it again because it's already, I just damp it down at night and then I load it up before I go to bed. And in the morning, I wake up and there's plenty of hot coals. Just throw another couple logs on there. It starts right back up on its own. It's awesome. That's the best. I think I bought that for $100. It's the best $100 I've spent on the cabin since the last wood burner, which I bought for $50. We're moving up in the world. We're moving on from a $50 wood stove to a $100 one. And by the way, the one that I got is thousands of dollars new. The person didn't use it very much, and they just wanted it out of their garage. Those are my favorite kind of people that are just getting rid of something. And he was a cool guy. I just went and got it. And my friend Matt, shout out to Matt at the cabin, he is great with wood stoves, so he helped me install the new one, and it's been really running nicely, and I can't tell you how much I like that. The wood stove is the heart of the cabin, and the better one that you have, the better off you are, especially in the woods. And when it gets to be -10, you don't want to be messing around trying to keep warm. This one will do great for us. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you, friends. We've done our due diligence, not just for tonight, but also for the week. We'll have the replays on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will likely be in the live chat unless I fall asleep or something, which I'm apt to do at the cabin. One weekend, I fell asleep at 7:30, and then I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't go back to bed. You ever do that? I hate that. But anyway, that's all I got for you, friends. We will continue to cover the Grusch grift. I think we're going to do a special show at 6 months, still no evidence. We'll see what happens. Stranger things has happened. Maybe he'll actually come through with some evidence, but I doubt it. And as far as the 1091 Pictures situation, cry me a river. I'm not going to get upset that Third Phase of Moon isn't getting their money this month, or Stephen Greer's not getting his money, or James Fox, or any other grift squad, Corey Good, David Wilcock. They've made enough money on their garbage, fake information. Maybe it's time they all got a real job. Get a real job, you slobs, right? I think so. Anyway, that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Canby, and good night, and God bless all of you.